Slang words for people's social group and status. People who live in cities sometimes consider those who live in the countryside to be inferior, less modern, less educated, and less cultured. Some slang words for a person from a rural area are hick, hillbilly, and redneck. This last one can be offensive. My cousin is such a hillbilly. When she came to visit me in the city, she had no clue how to take the subway because she'd never done it before. He went from being a small-town hick to an internationally known singer in just 5 years. A person who is a little bit strange and who doesn't fit in with the popular group or with the normal people can be called an oddball. This word is less strong. Freak or weirdo, these words are stronger. Calling someone a loser is an insulting way to say that they are not cool and not talented. I've always been kind of an oddball. I enjoy obscure topics and I don't follow pop culture at all. Aaron is obsessed with sci-fi and he even dresses up like some of his favorite characters. What a weirdo. I felt like a real loser when I threw a big holiday party and nobody came. A person who is very shy, especially in social situations, can be called a wallflower, and someone who prefers to spend time alone is a loner or lone wolf. In high school and college, athletes are often called jocks, and people who study a lot and are not very cool are geeks or nerds. Pamela's a bit of a wallflower. She keeps to herself and waits for people to go up and talk to her. Ryan is a loner. I don't think he has any close friends. The jocks were always the most popular guys in school. None of the girls were ever interested in a computer geek like me. When talking about celebrities or other famous people, the term A-lister means someone who is among the most famous or popular in that category. In business or other organizations, such as gangs, the person in the top position of power can be called the head honcho, or the big kahuna. I spotted a couple of A-listers at that restaurant in Los Angeles. Nate has a ton of experience. He was the head honcho at a multinational company for more than 10 years. Other slang terms for important, powerful people include the big dogs, big boys, and a big shot. Big shot is sometimes used ironically for someone who thinks they are important or who shows off their importance arrogantly. People in positions of power have a lot of clout, influence. She's the top advisor to many of the big dogs in the marketing industry. When celebrities commit crimes, they can often get a big shot lawyer to defend them. He may not be the leading candidate for president, but he has a lot of clout in the Latino community. There are many slang words that describe people based on their race, but I will not teach them here because they are offensive. However, I want to make one comment on the word nigger. This is a disparaging term for a black person, but some black people nowadays do use it with a neutral or positive connotation among each other. There is a debate in the African American community about this. Some people believe it is okay to reclaim a word previously used as an insult, while others believe that nobody should ever use this word again. So, although you may hear it in some movies and music, it's best never to use it. Slang words for people's character and personality. Someone who treats others badly can be described as a jerk. An asshole. This is stronger than jerk. A bastard, for men only. A bitch, for women only. A dick, or a prick, for men only. A douchebag, for men only. A slime ball, or a scumbag. Usually men, particularly men who do something especially disgusting. Here are some examples. Some jerk hit my car in the parking lot and left without leaving a note. My ex-husband was an asshole. He used to make fun of people with mental disabilities. After our argument, she went and told all my friends how I was a terrible person. What a bitch! I know you're mad that I broke your cell phone, but you don't have to be a dick about it. I already promised to pay for the repairs, so lay off. Lay off means stop verbally attacking me. That slimeball just invited my 16-year-old sister to go home with him. Someone who has abnormal or disgusting sexual tendencies or actions can be described as a perv, short for pervert, or a sicko. And someone who is unpleasant in a threatening or possibly dangerous way is a creep. The governor is accused of molesting several dozen children. I hope that perv gets life in prison. After I turned Alex down for a date, he started calling me every night. I had to change my number just to get away from that creep. On the internet, there are people who like to make rude or offensive comments in discussions just to make everyone angry. These people are called trolls. Have you ever had a friend who eats your food and doesn't help pay for it, borrows your clothes instead of buying their own, and constantly asks you for money? This person is a mooch or a freeloader, someone who constantly tries to get things for free from their friends and family. Mooch and freeload can also be used as verbs. Ryan's just a freeloader. He doesn't have a job, he isn't looking for one, and he's been staying at his cousin's place for the past year without helping pay rent. She's always mooching off her friends. She gets them to pay for her drinks every time they go out. Finally, famous bands and singers often have groupies, extremely enthusiastic and devoted fans, often young women. An especially dedicated fan can also be called a fanboy or a fangirl. These terms make a little bit of fun of the person's extreme dedication and love for their celebrity idol. All the Justin Bieber groupies screamed when he stepped out of the limo. Someone who is very lively and entertaining is the life of the party. On the other hand, a wet blanket is a dull, depressing person who ruins others' enjoyment. Similar to that is a stick in the mud, someone who doesn't like to have fun, and a fuddy-duddy is an old-fashioned, conservative person who doesn't like progress, change, or modern things. Jen is super outgoing. She's always the life of the party. Look, I don't want to be a wet blanket, but I just don't think your plan is going to work. Everyone else had a blast dancing at the wedding except for Jason, who's a total stick in the mud. We want to have a Christian rock concert in the church, but the pastor is an old fuddy-duddy who disapproves of that type of music. Slang words for people's actions. Someone with bad motor coordination in general is a klutz, or the adjective klutzy, and someone who tends to drop things is a butterfingers, or has butterfingers. While getting up from the couch, I lost my balance, fell flat on my face, and broke my nose. I'm such a klutz. That's the second dish that has slipped out of my hands this morning. I have butterfingers today. If someone sits on the couch all day, especially watching TV, and is not very physically active, they are a couch potato. Some couch potatoes are also slobs. A slob doesn't take care of his or her appearance or living space, so everything is dirty, disorganized, and unattractive. Come on, kids, turn off the video games and go play outside. Don't be couch potatoes. My college roommate was a major slob. He'd leave the sink full of his dirty dishes for weeks until I'd get so grossed out I'd wash them myself. Someone who likes to collect miscellaneous objects and doesn't like to throw anything away is a pack rat, or a hoarder. Pack rat is a more innocent, affectionate way to refer to someone who has the hobby of keeping everything, and being a hoarder is more serious. It can even be a psychological problem. Grandpa's definitely a pack rat. He still has boxes full of his childhood toys from the 1940s. Linda is constantly taking stuff from the garbage to bring home. I wonder if she needs it or if she's actually a hoarder. If a person hates to spend money and spends as little as possible, then they are a tightwad. This word has a negative connotation, like a person who doesn't spend even when they really should. Dana's boyfriend is a rich lawyer, but he's a real tightwad. When he proposed, he gave her a cheap $10 ring with a fake diamond. Finally, we have helicopter parents, a type of parent who is constantly observing their child and constantly interfering in their life, like a helicopter always stays over one area. Helicopter parents also tend to be worrywarts. A worrywart is someone who worries too much, especially about things that don't require so much worry. I don't think it's healthy to be a helicopter parent because you end up raising kids with no independence or self-reliance. My mom called me 5 times to check if I got home safely. She's such a worrywart.